Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Thursday, March 29th, 2012, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. We have terrific television archives. At the top of the page, it's our second anniversary of JCOntheline.com, and it's been 2 years now since we've had this stuff up. We hope you are taking advantage of all the great video that exists up there. Just sort of punch around and have a little fun. You'll see some great old television history. Also, we have JC's Eye Candy, which is right below what we're looking at right now. And man, oh man, this thing I got for you today, my goodness. I actually issue a warning before you watch this. We'll get into that a little bit later on. And JC's Rock and Roll poll question yesterday. A new survey showed the majority of Americans haven't been to 5 of the country's biggest and most important landmarks, like the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Alamo, and the White House. How many have you been to? Number one answer at 22%, 1. Number two answer at 21%, 3. 21% have been to 2 of those landmarks. 13% have been to 4. 11% of you have been to none of them, and 9% have been to all 5. So, in other words, if you combine the answers 1 and 3, you end up with about 44%. So, between 1 and 3 is what we got. All right, new survey out shows that, well, they talked to people over the age of 40, and they said, what was the best, happiest year of your life? And the age that they came up with was 33. So, our question today: is that survey right? Answer yes, no, or C, I'm hoping the happiest year of my life is still to come. How about that? Now I've played with your head a little bit. Please answer in the corner. We'll have results for you tomorrow. We've gotten confirmation that Bill Maher will be joining us on the showgram between, Trish Gazelle and I are there every day from noon until 3. 2:15 tomorrow, Friday afternoon, Bill Maher will be joining us. Bill will be at the Family Arena in St. Charles on Sunday, April 15th, so keep that in mind. Last night on Conan, Will Ferrell shows up dressed as Ron Burgundy, the star of Anchorman, and announces that Anchorman 2 is happening. Steve Carell, Paul Rudd are back. Judd Apatow will produce. Adam McKay will again direct the movie. Let's see how that one works out. I laughed my ass off at Anchorman. Jessica Simpson reportedly spending $2 million to rent she's going to rent the entire hospital when she gives birth to her daughter. The fact that Jessica Simpson has $2 million is reason enough to throw yourself in front of a bus today. Model Lauren Scruggs. This is the woman who got off the airplane and walked into the propeller. She has settled for more than $1 million with the plane's insurance company. So you get off a plane and you walk into a propeller and it takes off one of your arms and blinds you in one eye, and it's not your fault? I feel sorry for her and everything, but how is it? Let's go back to a complete nincompoops in show business for 200. Gary Busey almost died in a motorcycle accident in 1988, and he claims that during that ordeal he had a near-death experience and he actually saw heaven. So that's not really that uncommon, especially coming from Gary Busey. That's a mild statement. So anyhow, he's so convinced of what he thinks that he got into a fight once on the set of a movie with another actor who had a different idea of what heaven was like. Listen to this story. This all comes from Curtis Armstrong, who was on Moonlighting for a couple of years. He was in Revenge of the Nerds, and he was in a movie in 2003 with Gary Busey called Quigley. Sorry, missed it. Busey played a software tycoon who dies and is reincarnated as a dog. So there's a scene where Busey's character goes to heaven. And that's where the problem was, because Busey said that the directors on the movie had everything wrong. He says, and this is according to Curtis Armstrong, he says that Busey looked around and said, I can't play this scene, it's nothing like this. I've been to heaven and it doesn't look like this. And here's my favorite line of this story. Gary Busey then said, that sofa is all wrong. Apparently, the sofas in heaven are dramatically different than what you would find here on earth. The mirror is ridiculous. They don't even have mirrors. Do you really need to know anything more about this story, or Gary Busey for that matter? How much money did Amy Winehouse have when she kicked the bucket? $4.66 million is your answer. Earlier this week, Spike Lee got all involved in the Trayvon Martin case down in Florida because he got the address of George Zimmerman, the guy who a lot of people think should be arrested for that crime. There's only one problem. Spike had the wrong address. Turned out to be some 70-year-old retirees, and they were fearing for their lives for a few days. All right, on the Mr. Skin website, it is Mila Kunis against Jessica Biel and Jessica Alba against Scarlett Johansson in their Final Four bracket for the NCAA. It's obvious they take out the NCAA brackets, but they basically took all of the hottest young women in Hollywood, broke them down according to cup size, and this is the Final Four now. It's Mila Kunis, Jessica Biel, Jessica Alba, and Scarlett Johansson. I think it's hilarious. Back in 2009, the guy from Vivid Entertainment offered the Octomom, Nadia Suleman, $1 million if she'd make a porn. They put a new offer on the table yesterday, and it's 10% of the original offer. Regrettably, her market value has diminished, says Stephen Hirsch from Vivid Entertainment. 3 of Tiger Woods' porn mistresses are in a new X-rated flick called Three Mistresses, Notorious Tales of the World's Greatest Golfer. It comes out on Tuesday. I've seen the trailer. You want to talk about a skank fest. Michelle Williams, is Jason Segel hitting that? That's what they say. Clay Aiken says Rihanna is pitchy and wouldn't have made it past the first round of American Idol. You loved him in Urkel, well, you loved him in Family Matters as Urkel, and now the ladies love him even more on Dancing with the Stars. He is the Vegas odds-on favorite to win. However, a woman named Bridget Hardy, who has a 2-year-old daughter named Samaya with Urkel, says that he has a very dark side and he's a dangerous guy and he's a bad dude. According to a new survey, the average person worries about 5 things every day, and 1 in 6 people worries about 10 different things daily. Money is the most common thing people worry about, followed by their health, getting older, work, stress, and gaining weight. Here are a few stats from this survey by Esquire magazine to throw some unnecessary stress into your marriage. 14% of married men admit they've gotten it on with a man at some point in their lives. 34% of men that are in committed relationships say they've had sex with at least one other person since that relationship began. And 10% say they believe that oral relations do not count as sex. Only 13% said their favorite type of porno is woman on woman, and 2% said their favorite sexual position is standing. The Mega Millions jackpot tomorrow night, all-time record, $476 million. Looks like it could push up to $500 million. You'd be richer than Mitt Romney, LeBron James, Lady Gaga, and Will Smith. New study from Sydney, Australia, and I've seen this study other places, by the way, in previous years, but it basically says that the more homework kids have, you can just pile on the homework like crazy and it's not going to make them do better in school. Supposedly, only students in their last 2 years of high school show any benefit when they do more homework. And in countries where kids spend more time doing homework, test scores are lower. I knew it. American homes, 51% of them are places where at least one Apple product exists. And of the homes that do, they average 3 different products. Apple's taken over the world, folks. Nike is suing Reebok over Tim Tebow. It's a stupid story. And according to this is like a random fact, according to a new study, for some reason, fewer baby boys are born during tough economic times. The NFL announced 2 big rule changes for the upcoming season. All turnovers are going to be reviewed in the booth. Also, the new overtime system used during the playoffs will now be the norm during regular season games as well. Here are 9 things you should never say to your boss. And they talked to the bosses, by the way, and these were their answers. Never say these things. I need a raise. That's just not possible. I can't stand working with blank. I'm hungover. I emailed you about this last week. It's not my fault. I don't know, but we've always done it this way, and let me set you up with blank. Don't be fixing up your boss with some dolly. You'll never guess which gadget Americans adopted faster than any other gadget in history. You haven't seen one in a long time. It is the boombox. According to data by the Consumer Electronics Manufacturing Association, within 7 years on the market, over 60% of households had a boombox. No other product crosses the 60% mark, not even cell phones or color TVs, by the way. Russell Brand's new girlfriend says he's a good person, but remember she's dating Russell Brand, so she may not be the best judge of character. Shaka Khan made a music video in tribute of Trayvon Martin. It's supposedly very good. I'm sure if Trayvon were alive today, he'd say, "Who's that?" And a U.S. man successfully underwent the most comprehensive face transplant. Oh, I'm sorry, check that. I mean, the second most comprehensive transplant. Sorry, Bruce Jenner. Big Bang Theory tonight. Leonard Nimoy is on. Scotty McCreery on American Idol. Thank you for the warning. Stevie Nicks on Up All Night. And on Inside Comedy, this is the first season premiere. David Steinberg did a great job with this series on Showtime. It's going to be Robin Williams and his inspiration, Jonathan Winters. All right, Lara Logan from CBS News, 41 today. This is a tough chick, and you know why. 37 years ago today, on this date, 1975, Led Zeppelin had all 6 of their albums on the charts at the same time. That's never been accomplished before in history. And here's a little show business fact for you. 36 years ago today, in 1976, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, starring Jack Nicholson, won Best Picture, Best Director for Milos Forman, Best Actress in Louise Fletcher, and Best Actor in Nicholson. The producer of that movie was Michael Douglas. And that's why Danny DeVito was in the movie, because he and Danny DeVito were roommates. Little known show business fact. All right, as I said, I'm issuing a warning today about JC's Eye Candy. It's right below what you're looking at right now. I don't know where this took place. I only know that it's very disturbing because the outcome of, it just couldn't have been good news for the driver of the SUV, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm warning you ahead of time. This isn't for everybody. I'm not kidding either. It's not for everybody, but it just shows you how fast it can happen. And I'll leave it at that. JC's Eye Candy, a sobering edition of JC's Eye Candy today. And that's it. The Daily Dose for Thursday, March 29th, 2012. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. Rock and roll poll question in the corner. Make sure you answer. And Bill Maher tomorrow, Friday at 2:15 on the Big 550 KTRS, where Trish Gazelle and I reside every day. In the meantime, that's it. We've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.